What's up? Semen retention. Lonely men need to recognize their power and energy. Men who are single, men who don't have anybody like that, they maybe not have had a relationship, or they don't have many friends, or they don't have a lot of stuff going on for them, as far as from a social aspect. These men have a lot of power and a lot of energy. And the reason they do is because their potential for the focus they can give to things is what can give them a lot of, they could like straight shoot, or I don't know if that's the right word, but they have a faster path to success because they can give more time, energy, and focus to things. Don't always take being lonely as a, I made another video just like this talking about it, but don't think a man being lonely like, oh, he's like pathetic or anything. That man, if you focus on his God given purpose, bro, he is gonna thrive. He is gonna thrive in life. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get to the best version of himself, the happiest version of himself. Because a lot of times it comes down to how much time, attention, and focus can you give to something over a long period of time. That's what separates you from people. A lot of people, they want to be a certain way, they want to do things a certain way. They always get distracted by everything. Not saying you can't be distracted. You can be distracted as a lonely man. Obviously, I've been, I would call myself, to an extent, I'm alone, but I don't feel like lonely. But I could, you can put me in that category, and I've definitely had distractions, like watching websites, masturbation, all that stuff. But if a man really lock in with himself when he's alone, I'm telling you, he can change the world. He could change the world, man. He could really change his life, change a whole bunch of other people's lives, because he could really give so much attention and time to himself and what he want to do in life. Hold on. I was about to sneeze. Those guys just have a lot of potential. You know what I'm saying? A man that's single and he's just not that out there socially. He has so much potential, man. That guy has so much potential because even in the Bible, a lot of the great men in the Bible, there were points where they were lonely. There were points where they're in solitude. Even with a lot of dudes in real life that I've seen today, uh, it's people I know that they've been to prison, and when they came out of prison, they were a much more focused person. You get what I'm saying? Because when you obviously, I feel like when you in prison or something, you ain't got nothing but time on your hands. You know what I'm saying? And that allow you to sit with yourself. And so that is just a huge thing. And when you be isolated with certain things in life, not saying being lonely all the time is good for you, but what I'm saying, if you're lonely and you're not doing what you're supposed to, it's gonna hurt you. If you lonely and or you are alone and you're going hard as you can in life, you're gonna be thriving. You're gonna feel happy. You're gonna feel good. You're gonna become more social through that because you didn't distract yourself with probably hanging out with everybody or looking at everything where everything else was going on. You was looking at yourself. You was analyzing yourself. You was focusing on bettering yourself, and you believed too. You was believed, and you had hope, and you kept going. You know that's what's gonna help you. Uh, a lot of men have to realize that, bro. You got so much potential. You know the guys who have a super, I'm not saying that you can't be focused and have a very social life, but you're more prone to being distracted through just having fun, or being distracted through just meaningless pleasure and stuff, and kind of just goofiness with a lot of stuff, because you're going to be around so many different people that can influence you. When you got time to really just sit with yourself, you get a much clearer aspect on life. you know and where you sitting at in life and where you want to go in life. That's a really important thing. That's what we gotta look at, man. And a lot of guys that be having these periods of time where they might be in prison, or they might be in jail, or they just might be in solitude, like just by themselves. You can have so much potential because you have all the mental energy to give to something. You know what I mean? And you're not. It's just you're not gonna be distracted as much. And obviously, other things can happen. Stuff could, life can, just, throw a lot of stuff at you. But when you can give a lot of focus and attention and effort towards something, when you truly, 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 truly put your mind to it, I'm telling you, you have so much power and energy that goes way beyond making a lot of money. It goes way beyond superficial success. It goes way beyond that. You actually connect and touch people, and semen retention, that's the sole purpose of it. For you to live your life, but more importantly, the really the soul of it is for you to impact this world in a positive way. For you to truly be a man that's contributing and helping other human beings in life, no matter if they black, white, Asian, Chinese, man or woman, you know. And so that's what I look at, man. That's what we all got to look at nowadays. We can't be focused on nothing else. And when you can give your time, focus, and effort towards something, and a lot of times you get that by being alone, you know, that's when you really start to see, you know what I mean? You could do a lot. You can do a lot, in life. And life could be good, because at the end of the day, we all gonna go. We all gonna die one day. We obviously know that, you know. But as a human being, and you can also see, like, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, nobody ain't gonna know you. Nobody ain't gonna care about you or hear about you. It's like you gonna be back, like, it's gonna be basically like you don't exist no more. You can't think about stuff. You can't think about when people talk about stuff like that. Think about what you hear now. What you gonna do now? How you gonna make the most out of life while you have life? Don't think about these kind of stupid hypotheticals and stuff like that. And that hypothetical may be true. Because I don't remember anybody from 100 years ago or 200 years ago. I know stuff happened. I don't remember. I don't know nobody specifically. I don't remember, ancestors or whatever like that. But that don't matter. Who you helping today? Who you helping right now? And I'm telling you, you can do a lot more than you think you can do. You can do a lot more than somebody can somebody tell you. You know, and that kind of make me mad with a lot of stuff because you will hear people, like, how you go to the gym, right? And people will be like, well, I don't wanna get too big. You know what I'm saying? Or you hear examples of people. Let me remember, because I'm about to forget what I was about to say. Dang, let me remember. Whoo, let me remember. Oh, you would have a guy that can bench 400 pounds, right? And he might be 21 years old. Real life example or real life thing. I got a friend, he can bench like 380, and he my same age. He a bigger guy than me, right? And I can only bench 235, right? And I'm much smaller. If you come to a person and you be like, well, Brandon, you might as well stop, because you will never get to your level. You will never get to the level that this guy that your friend is doing. You will never get to his level. And years from now, if he keep going and you keep going, he gonna still be way above you. So you might as well stop. You ain't gonna never get to his level. You get what I'm saying? You can't look at stuff like that. That's why you have to focus on yourself. When you look at stuff like that, you cap your own potential. And people will be like, oh, you just reached your genetic limit, or you can't get any stronger than this. Name how many people in the gym reach their genetic limit. Probably less than 1% of people actually reach their genetic limit. 99.9% of people is on this. They barely don't even know their potential. They don't even know their potential because they didn't try hard enough. You get what I'm saying? Only the people that put years and years and put so much time, energy, and effort over the course of time into taking care of their health and taking care of their body, those the people you gonna see. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They might they those and only few of those people gonna be like, oh, I reached my genetic limit. You know what I'm saying? Stop capping yourself, with these self-limiting beliefs. You can go much farther. And I know that's an example about, your body and taking care of your health and the gym. But even with your influence, even your success in life, you can go far beyond what you thought you could, you know? And so have that mindset, bro. A lot of men think, well, it's not gonna matter because this don't matter in 100 years from now. They not no, gonna care. You can do a lot more impacting on people than you think you can. You really can. So that's all I got to say, man. Peace out.